after multi-kill, but there's no beating around the bush here. Antic are the overwhelming favorites coming into this one. In their regular season, they crushed both games in 26 minutes. The game prior that we literally just witnessed, it was done in 28. It's a miracle we're hoping for, and we have seen miracles before.
And it's looking like another classic Antic level 1 here. With Draco on this Nautilus, they are very willing to get active into the enemy jungle. Mundo here just ringing the cowbell, making my ears absolutely bleed. But that ward will spot this invade here. It also won't get cleared out, and since there's no sweeper from Antic, this is a nice little play from Fury to deny that level 1 play. Now, as we take a look at the top lane, you can see Tomasino's actually gone for the fleet footwork here, which is something you very rarely see on the Jax, right? It's the kind of two typical routes you do go are either the lethal tempo, if you're valuing that kind of late game scaling team fighting power, or the Grasp the Undying for laning phase. So instead, Tomasino kind of saying he still wants all that precision tree, but valuing the sustain that something like a fleet footwork gives. So it will be incredibly interesting to monitor how this top lane goes. Jax versus Cassante. Obviously, Jax has a pretty nice time in the early phase of the matchup, but once that level 6 comes online, Zoranus can definitely fish for solo kills himself. And really across the board here, level 6 is the go button for these solo laners. Ryoma here on this Akali, we know the second that perfect execution comes online, he will be looking.
He certainly will be hunting, and we'll have to wait and see where he decides to try and utilize that ability, as we've all got our eyes firmly locked on making sure that a Kaiser ceases to exist. And as you mentioned, yeah, for Tomasino, the Jax is going to have a lovely little time for the most part, right? Waiting for that Sheen to come online and weave in that where the damage can be found. Also, the Counter-Strike finding a fair degree of value at the same time too, and hopefully preying upon the weakness and vulnerability of an all-out mode Cassante. 90-10. That's really what it feels like in the odds coming into this one here. Yes, there's been some great changes by Fury, and they have avoided that classic level 1 invades. But let's see what Sherp can accomplish, because for me, he was the standout in game 1.
And look at this bot lane here as well, Skimmy. While this is happening, Swiper's been able to walk into Nox's jungle here and take away these camps. So the map split is going in favor of Antic. Nox will try to take a creative path here. He knows his Raptors are warded, so wants to dodge the vision as he goes for this trade. But ultimately, after he takes these camps, he won't be feeling too bad on this side of things. And this kind of is one of the issues with picking a Kai'Sa in the early game, is you see so much lane priority that even a Smolder is really able to have his push with the lane. So down towards that bot lane, you can see Fury bounce their wave, looking for a crash here. Up in this top lane, you do wonder how Tomasino is going to play this wave out, because his jungler is on the top side of the map. This wave is slow pushing towards him. If the wave state does continue, there is an avenue for a gank. But we know Zoranus and Cassante of all champions, certainly a hard one to lock down. Yeah, incredibly hard to lock them down. We've seen it go pear-shaped time and time again, much like an Udyr, where it's nigh impossible to make a gank go their way. You did see Nox feign a reset back to base, decides to jump across the wall and just peek his head into top lane to see what could be found. Instead, going to go for the Scuttler, as both top and mid find a fair degree of volatility. There is the Shuriken flip. It's landed. Royama looking for the all-in right now. He's going to expend all of that energy as he's run out. And Nox tag teams in to say, get away from my mid laner. And Chirp, would you believe it, surviving on a sliver of HP, only 10. He is absolutely saved by the jungler there. You could see Ryoma was tossing up whether he wanted to flash, trade those, potentially trying to get an auto attack and secure the first blood. But the fact that Nox is in the area will dissuade any potential play. Now look up towards this top lane here. Zoranus might be in a little bit of trouble here.
He is going to be in a fair bit of trouble, but he's just going to take that Counter-Strike to the head. Obviously not running a flash means he wouldn't be able to dodge out in that one, but he's just going to be quite content to bait out the next stunt. Become immune on that occasion. Fantastic there for King though, to hit the W like that. You clear the wave, you get the damage, you get the stacks in the same process as well. As Tomasino is looking for that all-in right now. He's got no mana left. And I'm sure this is when you really wish you had the Ignite in the top.
Yeah, would have been able to secure the kill there for sure. But Tomasino will still get the wave control. That's the important thing here. Will likely take this, look to base and match TPs with Zoranus. So you can already see getting very aggressive in this early laning phase, taking advantage of this counter pick. And this is what you need to see if you're a Fury fan. The early game really was their downfall in game one. Not able to really get anything going for them. But if you're able to contest up towards this top lane, that opens up the Void Grubs, which Nox is going to start up right now.
Certainly is going to be the case right now as TP's coming on through. So it's a case of looking to utilize the pressure that you highlight and make sure that, unlike last game, that you get more than just the one. And that you do have a strength that is more compatible than just saying we need to run forward and hope that if we win the fight, then we're good from that point onwards. This will open up the avenue for them to play towards the side lanes, which we know both Jackson is here, love to do.
Yeah, they certainly do. Chirp here on this is here. No stranger to sitting in those side lanes. We saw last game a creative escape that just went awry. But this is a nice little roam here from Findo in towards the mid lane. We saw how aggressive ANC were in terms of targeting Chirp in that game 1. So here, the support of Fury going to make sure nothing like that happens. Allows his mid laner to get the wave in and walk back towards bot lane now. This dragon will be taken. Obviously, Nox training those grubs on the top side of the map means it's Antic and Swiper have a window to be able to do this. As top lane's Zonus, he might have found Tomasino.
Oh, nice little out there as he crests over to level 6 and forces Tomasino to burn a flash to safety, not willing to take any kind of trade underneath that tower, not really wishing to concede first blood in that same conversation as the ward coming out from Zonus, protecting himself as Nox is in the area. Really wants to make sure that he doesn't fall victim to a fight as a result. Swiper, having picked up the dragon, is just going to walk over once again into the enemy jungle, pick up the Gromp and make sure that everything is a-okay. But Zonus is floating with death right now. There's no ghost. Has no ability to disengage away from this fight as he makes a phenomenal unstoppable clip. And that Counter-Strike gank, not going to work.
Yeah, it felt a bit weird by Nox there. I think he could have just walked around. Zonus was in an awkward position there where he had to shove the wave in on very low mana and HP. But ultimately, because Tomasino expends all of his mana trying to go forward and secure that Counter-Strike, it will allow Zonus to resume control of the lane. So this is kind of what we were talking about earlier with the fact that once level 6 is found, as hold on, Findo's being caught.
He has been caught right now, surrounded by 2, forced to burn a flash as well, and cops an ignite for good measure. As he drops to 50%, retreats underneath that mid-tier 1, and is forced to go back to base. So wave state for them is pretty pushed up, and you can see that both top and bot working in the favor, so gold in all the right places.
Yeah, Smolder here, obviously, once again in King's hands. Almost feels like it's invulnerable up until that 20-minute mark. Really no pressure being applied to this champion like you would have liked to see from this Kai'Sa Alistar. But so far, just been able to free scale, working his way towards that Essence Reaver. And speaking of items, Tomasino, with the Tunneler in his inventory, looks like he might be going towards actually the Titanic Hydra first on Jax, which obviously is a little bit tankier than the Triforce pickup. It doesn't give you as much DPS because you're not going to be getting those Sheen procs as often combined with that attack speed. So a bit more of a safe option. Very reminiscent of that Sundered Sky that we did see earlier on in his previous game. A little bit of training here towards the bot lane. Not too much, but keep in mind, Nox is in the area and does have level 6 available.
Yeah, just looking to try and test the waters, see what they can find here, the bot lane of Fury. As you say, Nox is hunting for it. Level 6 would be a line, and it would definitely allow them to try and punish the squishy dragon. Obviously, hoping in a fair bit more time, a fair bit more items. Obviously, I mean, the conversation really is for these two AD carries. They're scaling, but in different ways, right? The side of Smolder wanting to hit those abilities and empower their entire kit, whereas for Hooper, it's about getting enough attack speed, ability power, attack damage to evolve all of their abilities, and at that point really become a bit of a menace. Yet another headbutt pulverized as they still ring through here in the bot lane. They summon Martin, and Nox literally gets to witness the support fall for free.
Yeah, Findo getting way too aggressive there. Didn't respect the damage to come out of the Antic bot lane. Keep in mind, he had used his flash on that previous play where he was caught out in the jungle by Swiper and Dragu. So we'll just fall down there, and Skimmy, once again, it feels like Fury are having the same problems. They have all this engage. They want to be proactive with it. You could see Nox was hovering around that bot lane for so long, but ultimately it is just a little missed time, a little mis-execution that results in a kill going over to King of all people here. And even the top lane, which was meant to be the strong point for Fury in draft, Zonus has taken 2 plates for himself and is looking pretty fine up here in this K'Sante matchup.
Yeah, and especially if Tomasino isn't working towards that Sheen, and the trading potential isn't going to work in his favor as this one continues, as the tanky items come more and more online here for Zonus. Maybe more so valuing that AoE clear from the Titanic Hydra as out goes the Emperor's Divide, and you can see that Roma, having not burnt the flash, may have just simply flipped away to safety, but Swiper can utilize that strength of both mid and top to say, well, you got the first 3, we'll get the second. Nobody going to be spawning any little voidlings today.
Yeah, both top and mid priority combined with the fact that Dragu had been roaming up towards that objective means that Swiper will secure it. Now, it's more a denial than anything. Obviously, last game they got 5. This time they will only have 3. So not as potent of a turret pusher, but certainly not allowing Fury any opportunities back into this game. We already highlighted how split pushing might be the big win condition here, especially from this Jax. With those void grubs taken away, that certainly diminishes some of the power that's going to be present. Now, 80 carries have ticked over to that first item. You can see the static shiv out here from Hooper, so kind of battling the wave clear, which Kai'Sa does suffer from a lack of in that early game, whereas it will be the Essence Reaver coming online for King. So going to keep him nice and topped up on mana as he looks to continue farming those stacks.
That's very much the case. It's going to be much more of a passive affair here, where the only real major difference is to be found in the mid lane, where Nazir certainly can, for the first 5 levels, look to reign supreme. But from that point onwards, you are just seeing Roma dish and dash around the shadow form and just continue to hit them with that 3-point strike and make sure that he's always at an HP advantage. So much so that he's working towards his own first turret plate, which he will successfully achieve, and actually also force Chirp to go back to base to burn that TP2.
It feels criminal that Akali's been able to pick up turret plates in this matchup, but plain and simple, that is just what happens when you are Ryoma in that mid lane. So skilled he is at exploiting 1v1s at any opportunity that even up against the Azir, he'll be able to find that. Now, Dragon has spawned here. The second one of the game would be for Antic. There is a fair amount of vision here from Fury spotting them out, and with the trade going on in the mid lane, there's actually been a scoop happen.
The scoop has happened, as you said, and Flash will not once again have to be burnt because he's got the perfect execution. He's such a slippery champion on the Sakali. Roma, a very hard one to lock on down, and frustration for Nox. It almost feels like a Nocturne, you know, struggling to find a way to utilize their ultimate.
Yeah, in the mid lane there, Swiper was available as well if that play had continued to make that a 2v2. As for now, Nox is starting up this Dragon, but all you can see, the members of Antic are grouped up in this area. Knockup comes through. Now, do you 3v3 this? That's the question. It's quite hard for Chirp to actually walk in because of his isolated position. I'm not sure what Fury want to do here. They've got a ward. They know it's going down. What does Nox decide to do?
It's an awkward one really at this stage here because they're hesitating. They're deciding, do we recall, do we not? We're watching the Dragon fall on down, but there's no real necessity rather for them to try and hard force this one. Given it's only the second Dragon in this game, they don't want to throw their life down the line for just such a meager reward in the end. So second picked up, Chemtech map is active and alive. And for what we know of this one, more honey fruit, bigger blast cones, probably perfect then for the displacement that would be needed for the likes of a Jax and a Vi.
Yeah, some nice flanking angles will be able to be found on this map through, like you highlighted, those Chemtech plants. Up in the top lane here, Hollow Radiance has been completed. The knockback just misses onto Tomasino. You have to imagine that if that one connected, it would have been a scoot back into a kill here. But now, once again, like you highlighted, Nox on this Vi hasn't done anything at all to be able to get his team into the game. And I mean, yes, you have good scaling yourself. Bindo, hold on, he's looking for Ryoma.
He is hunting for it, and the Pulverize just a little bit shy. You can see dismay in the player can there, thinking, let me find something, some way to allow our comp to come online and really shine and showcase what it's all about. That tower hanging on for dear life eventually falls on down, not before it tickles Zoranus as the soldiers come out to play as well. But down to 20%, he's still looking to contest. But now he's going to be surrounded by 3 members, and he's yet to pop the ghost. He's waiting to hit that Pathmaker to become CC immune. It comes out now, denies the cease and desist, and don't tell me he gets away. No, the soldiers deny. He bought, though, crucial time. A TP coming in to make it a 2v4. Swiper jumps in with that Audacious charge, and Audacious it was because they have no damage. It's a Nautilus support who's also get a full victim. But I say that too early. Double found by Swiper, and they've turned it on its head despite having less members here. Tomasino now hunting for that 2-man Counter-Strike. Chirp retreating for the Sun Disc, and Tomasino finally takes down Helalusa Akali. Swiper, not much left damage in that tank, and now the Jax is 2-0.
There's the value for that Jax. Tomasino picks up 2 kills as the mum's coming out.
Ooh, very close.
Just will allow Tomasino to survive there. But the initial play from Swiper and Draku, all they were trying to do was buy time for Ryoma to get to that fight. Once the Akali shows up, that's really where the damage comes from. But Tomasino, in these extended fights with the Sundered Sky, is just too valuable. As we take a look again, Zoranus, to his credit, does survive an awfully long time amidst 3 members here. Forces out the Vi ultimate as well. And you can see, you rightly highlighted, it's a Xin Zhao and a Nautilus, not the absolute potent 2v2 combo to blow that person up. But they do have enough time, they do have enough CC to stall for Ryoma. He gets into the fight, takes down Bindo, Nox falls as well. But off the back end of this play, you can see Ryomi here. He wants to use the flash potentially to get that second cast of perfect execution onto Chirp, who doesn't have that summoner, but the Sun Disc dissuades him. And then being baited that far up the river, Tomasino will just be able to turn it around with all the attack speed that the Jax has in this extended fight. Hold on, Dracu's dead.
Well, Dracu is dead. We'll have to figure out what's gone on there from one replay into another. No doubt we'll get a response in just a second, but it's a phenomenal option for Fury now to showcase that they've got the double Sundered Sky in their jungle top, and that they really are a bit of a damage threat. Once again, the scoop onto Swiper, the isolated kill, no smite now, and that is the Herald going the way of Fury as a result. Out comes the sneeze from the Dragon again, as King is kiting across the wall, flat to the terrain, but locked down by the ultimate of Vi, flashing to safety, allowing Zonus now to rock up to the fight and keep them interested, and Tofu Strikes knocks them back. Dracu hooks him in, and King just peppers them from afar. Nox depletes, as it's such a scrappy fight, and the Herald stays alive.
I mean, what are Fury doing there? It feels like they just forgot about Zoranus on this Cassante here. He gets the initial kill and is able to walk all the way back into the fight to be able to pick off two more members. And what started as a really nice sequence from Fury with all their picks turns out going against them. But you can see Dracu just clearing a ward here. 4 members of Fury all grouped up to take down this Nautilus. I mean, yeah, you're tanky, but there's absolutely nothing you can do in the face of all that damage. And you can see, once again, they use this window to start the Rift Herald here. Nox is DPSing it down. And keep your eyes on Chirp. He knows that Swiper's going to want to get into the pit to contest this. Lands a nice little shuffle onto him, putting him in harm's way. And this initial play, fantastic, right? They take out the jungler. They've managed to find damage and CC onto Ryoma too, and which Hooper is able to secure with that ultimate. But look at Zoranus here. Kills Chirp and is able to get all the way back into the fight because Fury somehow just forget about his position. And that is really what turns it. This Cassante so tanky, even in the all-out mode, that he's able to buy time for his frontline, for King to rock back up and pick up these kills.
No doubt King will be quite happy with the pace of this game, right? Because the more time they're fighting, the more time he has to stack up on multiple members. Up to 158 now. Going to look and try and beat his personal best from game number 1. Gets clipped by the scoop of that, and he summoned it. He is a sitting duck. Dead again. Well, dead for the first time, I should say. But it feels like he's been under enough pressure that the Fury comp is now suddenly starting to be realized.
That's a huge pick though, Skimmy, because that is right before the Dragon, and this would have put Antic on Soul Point. But with Fury not only taking away that Smolder's respawn, they are also going to secure this Dragon. So what once was a kind of a one-sided affair similar to the game 1, Fury have absolutely turned it around with a series of nice picks here. Hooper especially, 194 CS with that static shift completed. Definitely a damage threat. And Tomasino, all while this has been happening, has been quietly achieving in the solo lanes. We saw him before pushing out that bot turret. As we take a look at the total gold, it's actually Antic on top, but it's a sea of red after that.
That it certainly is. Not very often you get to see a Cassante reign supreme so much stronger than the rest of the lobby, but on this occasion, it is him already sitting on 2 full items. An incredibly strong tank at that, and he's certainly going to have his work cut out for him, for Tomasino. Working towards that Trinity Force now, who has been very keen to sit to those side lanes and ignore the fights, but certainly get engaged upon it when the skirmish comes in his vicinity. But I tell you what, Max, it's 19 minutes in, and we're back to a dead-even game.
Yeah, completely even here. Not much separating these teams besides the burden of execution. I think that's really what this game is going to come down to here. As you can see, Antic, they spot both the Fury mid-jungle on this top wave. They know they have a window here. So Swiper will hop in that Herald and drive it straight into the enemy tier 2. Now keep in mind, there are also King and Dracu in the area. All 4 members of Antic have grouped up and they found Tomasino.
And a thirst to respond, great flash away, but Roma follows it across the wall. They hunt as King goes flat, but realizes, you know what, the tower's more important. And the heist, once again, really is as simple as them summoning the Herald, finding 2 towers, and then completely exposing a lane. Chirp stuck to his wayside. He wants to be that split push menace, much like we anticipated between himself and the Jax. And he's trying to make sure that they keep on pace.
But look at that, the TP comes through from Zoranus to deny Chirp actually hitting onto that tier 2 turret. So ultimately will just be a successful trade-up for them. Nox though, he's gone to King.
He's traveled through space and time to find the Dragon. Successful they are once again. This comp was built to do one thing, counter Smolder. And right now, with those small little tweaks in game number 2's draft, it looks a whole world different.
Skimmy Baron spawning right now. There's 24 seconds still left on King. Is the TP available for Tomasino if he wants to use it? He's going to. They're going for the Baron.
They're going for the Baron, the heist right now at 20 minutes in. Fino playing goalkeeper as he zones them away. He goes in for the flash, but it gets knocked away. The key focus always was remove the jungler, and that's exactly what they'll find. Zona's flanking from the top half of the Baron pit. But by that point, they've already lost multiple members. It's going to have to be a 4v5, a smiteless one at that.
Yeah, Fino here is a very squishy Alistar, but he's going to find the engage.
It certainly is. They jump on in and they collapse upon it. Hooper now 4-0, an incredibly fed Kaiser as we get to see Kaiser come back into fruition. Zoris going all out, separating one key member, destroying Nox, who's bleeding very low. The passive across the wall from King, who regroups up in the fight because it's been going just that long. And Chirp was hunting for something special, but without the ultimate, the flash was never going to be used.
Okay, ANC fans, you can breathe a sigh of relief. The Baron doesn't go over, and that really is the crucial thing. Yes, there are kills back and forth, but Fury ultimately are playing to turn there. You could see with Fino's positioning, all they wanted to do was find pick after pick. It was really nice, the way they collapsed onto Swiper. As we take a look once again here, Fino charges up the E, flash headbutts onto Swiper, putting him into the middle of 5 where he will be taken down. But off the back end of this, they're a little bit disjointed here. You can see the members of Fury are wanting to get on towards this Baron, but Fino still favors himself in a flank position. He wants to be able to find that damage, blow up even more targets, and here is the play. But keep in mind, there's no Azir ultimate that was used before. There's no Vi ultimate, so they're not able to actually chase down these kills, and that enables Zonis here to bring back Nox, force out the flash, and an unfortunate W does mean he does go down with a nice play from King. They trade back the jungler. No smite means no Baron.
It's messy, it's scrappy, it's everything you'd hope for in a battle between what really is a very one-sided affair, but Fury are bringing the heat right now, and they're keeping it competitive, very much so compared to game number 1. We continue that same sentiment of it being 22 minutes in, and the gold actually very slightly favoring Fury now. They had a potential to sneak away that Baron on spawn, but they did just enough to keep the game in such a volatile state that Antic, there might be a bit of a cold sweat, thinking, you know, yeah, we had the Smolder, and it's about to evolve into that magical 2-2-5, but will that be enough?
You do worry now, especially with all the items that Hooper has started to come online, with Gwinsu's Rage Blade completed as well as the Static Shiv, and he does so much damage. Even his Ws will certainly be able to provide an effective form of zone control. There's this third dragon spawning. It looks like Fury, they're in position to potentially fight, but there's no TP on Tomasino. So it seems like the play will just be to push these waves out, get this top lane tier 2 and the inside track on mid lane as well. They may be able to get both.
Let's see if they can try and find another kill in the process as well. The Akali is the focus now. Hooper is well and truly dominating, absolutely having a pop-up performance, especially when you need it. This is your team fighting in an elimination lower bracket affair. And one wrong move, the game goes awry, and you feel that you are out of this competition. Dragon number 3 then picked up by Swiper amongst all the action, with split pushing taking place topside, and a fight taking place in mid. Phenomenal Crescent Guard there as Chirp was hunting for the Ice-Lid scoop. That'll get prevented. That one's still kept intact, as mid tier 1 is the focus now.
Yeah, will be. You can see Zoranus is being forced to group here. Dredgeline lands though.
Good gone. Down comes the mum, and out goes to Chirp as he's realizing that he's just going to simply burn to Dracu's Ignite. The execute is there, and King Smolder is well and truly online right now. He is cycling through those cooldowns, utilizing the Shojin as well as the Essence Reaver. All that ability haste to just continue to spit hot fire on anybody within his sight. It is as easy as that. As soon as you evolve, it's a triple.
It was going so good for Fury, but this time they get put in the slow cooker by that dragon. You can see there the fight on midwave leaves King practically untouched there. The engaged tool's not able to find him, and it starts with a fantastic dredge line from Dracu. Hits Chirp, which forces out this Emperor's Divide nice and early. And look at King's positioning throughout this entire fight. Not once is he being auto-attacked. Instead, it's Zoranus and Dracu who are taking the brunt of every single cooldown, every single bit of damage, and that allows King to go forward here. Finds the pick, a 1,000 gold bounty going over to this Smolder. If he wasn't a problem already, he is absolutely horrifying off the back of that team fight.
Most certainly is, and the Antic players, the Antic fans watching in anticipation, hoping for that clean 2-0. May get a chance to rest a little bit easier now as they regain the control of the gold lead, up by 1,000, as they'll invite Fury to contest him on the second coming of this Baron, as Ryoma has spotted out Chirp. gets hit by the scoop, gets locked inside the Shadow Realm, and then actually goes for the 1v1. The trade gets placed as Tomasino picks up the pieces there. They collapse from the left and right as the Baron gets down to 4k HP. The Void Seeker connects, Hooper hoping for the kill instinct into the backline to snipe out somebody crucial. But King, look at his position right now, completely untouched. Nobody can get near him. The flash pulverize from Findo, the King target, that's who they're hoping for. And they do find it, Hooper gets it with that all-important ultimate to make it free. All lighting up red right now as it's Zonus against the world.
Nice.
But the world is too much.
That time, Fury, they find King. They say, okay, you can have all the gold in the world, but it won't matter if we dogpile you. That's exactly what their comp was built to do, and that's exactly what they do here. Not only will they be able to find the ace, you can see the frustration on King's face there. He had the Seeker's arm guard, couldn't use it. It'll be a Baron for Fury.
It certainly will be. Let's watch it once again. It starts off as a 4v5 with Chirp already being dead. But clearly Fury had a clear idea of how they wanted to play this one, and a beautiful engagement by Findo.
Yeah, their clear idea here is everyone kill King, and that's what they are able to do. It's a nice flash from Findo to find that initial engage, allows all the other members to jump in there. Hooper with the killer instinct over the top to secure the damage. And then once that Smolder is down, that is so much of your damage potential off the board. You could see those low health bars would have just been executed if the Smolder was alive. But instead, it will be a winning team fight for Fury. So off the back of what was a disaster on mid lane, they really flipped the game around here. Baron buff in hand and Draku as well.
Really good buffer there to deny the Dredge line away to safety as Fury are starting to feel themselves a little bit more in this game. They really had it cut out for them in this series. But in game number 2, they found moments, and those moments have actually opened up to something more, which is quite rare to say, because we've not yet to see it really materialize in that fashion in the playoffs thus far. Tomasino is incredibly tanky for the threat. I'm just completely Draco hits him with the depth charge from a million miles away. Roma is going for the straight 1v1, and with the counter-strike active, he just simply shuriken flips away. Once again, buying time for this free man to siege through mid. They'll open up the base. And they'll retreat back to that Sundit. They've taken down moments by a beautiful ult by Foreigner, or rather by Zornish, I should say, as he snipes out Hooper, but the cavalry arrives and Chirp is there to protect him. Across the wall goes King as he glides into the action, and he gets zoned out completely by all of those sand soldiers, but it does not matter. The burn is absolutely brutal. They get a triple, they get a clean ace.
How does this keep happening, Skimmy? It feels like every time a team wins a fight, they are forced to go down mid and lose one immediately after, and that's exactly the case there. It really was Zornes who blew open that fight for Antic, dragging Hooper across the wall. As here we go once again, this TP is about 1 second away from being cancelled, but he gets here just in time. Lands the knockback onto Hooper. It's a weird interaction with the ultimate because Hooper uses the killer instinct to try to create some space, but it means that he will be dragged out. And yes, Soren just goes down in the process, but Hooper, it just exploded here by King on this Smolder. Chirp in the middle of no man's land, and you can see in the live replay here, it will be a soul point Chemtech Dragon taken for Swiper and Antic.
And it certainly is. They're going to be very happy with that one, given the volatile state of this game, with every fight getting lower and lower by the moment. So that Chemtech Soul is really going to be the difference maker for them. And I tell you what, I mean, the burn on this Smolder is absolutely brutal. You could get fade away and zoned out by some Sarima soldiers, but it doesn't really matter because he still just gets to watch you tick on down.
And look at that gold graph there. It really does tell the tale of this game. Both AD carries truly well and above everybody else in the entire game here. King, basically 4.5 items completed, does still have that Seeker's arm guard if he wants to. Hooper does have his Zhonya's of his own to answer, so items abundant for every single carry here. As we get into the late game, there is still a decent amount of time left on these objectives here. You can see just under 3 minutes until Baron, and over 5 till an Elder Dragon. Antic, they're a team that's definitely well versed in these late game situations. Does Fury have the experience, the shot calling, and the leadership to contest them in these late game situations?
Hooper no doubt will be hoping to try and get a career high here, as his best performance was on a Zeri, going 13-0. He's working towards it right now, 11-2 on this Kaiser. No doubt this is a split personal best. And what a time to try and find that form in an elimination game, whether it really is a case of him being that high stakes game. He wants the pressure upon him to really deliver the outcome, and working towards a full build already. Just sitting now on that shard for all that magic pen to really just blow up somebody right off the bat. And with that Zhonya's complete, all the protection now to ensure It's very hard then for the likes of Zoranus or anybody in that conversation to try and take him out.
Yeah, and the Zonies is so nice to have on Kaiser as well, because not only can it be used defensively, but it also can be used offensively, right? You take that killer instinct in, you blow up that one target, and then bang, you pop it. Buy your team the time to be able to actually run up and defend you. As you can see, defense is the name of the game for ANC, because they're trying to drop these defensive wards and secure their vision in the bot side, which Fury are ever advancing. You can see top laners will be isolated towards the top side of the map in that 1v1, which Tomasino feels very happy about taking at this stage in the game. As the Baron ekes ever closer. How do Antic walk up and contest this vision? Because we've seen time and time again, Fury, the indecisiveness with which they were plagued in Game 1 certainly hasn't been a factor here in Game 2. They've been very willing to vial someone Alistar flash combo and pick them off before the fight even starts. So just under a minute here on this Baron. You can feel the tension here on the mid lane.
Yeah, and that for me is the key takeaway, right? Is the fact of how volatile Fury been to pull the trigger and go for it. And with every summoner, every flash up and available, we're expecting that to be the case once again. It almost feels like we're working towards a Baron being the ender of this game. And whilst that's usually been the case in LCO matches, certainly last night was the case, even with Baron, it wasn't enough. There's maybe a small inkling where you're thinking, even then, Baron might not be again. It feels like for Fury, though, for the likes of the Azir and the Jax, as much as they'd love to split push, they've been told, no, we need to stick us 5 because at any given moment, the Baron could be looked at.
Well, I think that's the key thing, is not only can the Baron be looked at, but a team fight can be started. We've seen before, Draco just simply walking up on mid-wave, throwing a Nautilus hook and being able to find someone to start off a catastrophe for the side of Fury. So Tomasino is still pushing the bot lane here. All 5 members of Antic currently on this mid-wave. The resets will come through here. This will allow Fury a little bit of a window to get their vision back, reassert their control around the area. And the question becomes, how do you actually answer Tomasino here on this Jax? He's looked very willing to just continue pushing these waves out. And yes, you can send Cassante down, but that's so much of the front line committed as well. And Fury, knowing Cassante is going to be down towards the spot side of the map, they're starting up this Baron, and this thing gets melted.
And it certainly does. Already down to 4k HP. They need to make something happen right here now. It's too little too late. Swiper's not in the area to try and make that execution through. As Fido's looking to try and zone them away, bait their attention, and look to try and force them back towards their own base. That gives safe passage then for the other 4 to protect and retain that Baron buff for themselves. Now we are well and truly at that point where this game is all up for grabs. Full build for multiple members as the zone users there, void stuff complete. And these AD carries in particular, the real president, the real MVP.
Yeah, and you are so happy with that as Fury. I mean, yes, you lose Alistar, but who really cares about this champion having Baron buff? There's a nice TP from Ryoma on the back end there to deny the push from Tomasino coming into that bot lane. But ultimately, like you highlighted, these items coming on board, this really is a late game situation, very reminiscent of what we had yesterday. And it seems like Antic, they're the team that want to take these games late. They're the team that are very happy to play in these situations. And I mean, look at Smolder right now. 650 gold is the bounty, full build, everything online here. And just to make matters worse, to make things harder to get on top of her, has that Zhonya's Hourglass in inventory as well. So all this one-shot potential coming out from Fury definitely nullified a little bit by those pickups from the mid-jungle of Antic. As here we go. Elder is the next objective on the cards. You can see some really nice deep wards here from Antic into their jungle. Provide Ryoma a lot of freedom to find whatever flank he is looking for. And Draku walking up a little bit here. He's going to find the hook onto Nox.
Yeah, found the hook onto Nox. Nox turns right into towards King, but Hoover crosses the back line with the killer instinct, but King goes golden and denies it. They're looking for that kill to try and remove that jungler as they trade flashes, but only one survived across the wall. It's a double for the Dragon. Both AD carries trying to be the hero, but unfortunately Hooper dies. It's a triple, hunting for more, but he gets denied. It becomes a quadra from the afterlife. And Tomasino also losing in the 1v1 here to Zoranus. He had the TP advantage, but he can't win the trade. And is that the undoing in this game that was so close for so long?
I think if he waits the all-out here, he can actually turn this around here, Skim. He's going to look for it.
He's going to hope that he can try and do something there. A little bit of regen coming on through. Counter-Strike lands, Blast Cone to split them and split ever so far. They just transported into different time zones, and it doesn't really matter because overall, still, their members surviving despite intact. It's going to be a slow one, but it will be a 2-man Elder.
Yeah, it will be an Elder Dragon. Unfortunately, none of the carries will be able to pick that up from Antic. But let's take a look again here. Nox kind of just face-checking into the river here. Is caught off by Drag2, and then Hooper, he goes so deep onto King here that it actually puts him right in the perfect position for Ryoma to find that damage. Yes, the Zhonya's buys time, but he still will fall down off the back end of this from a nice bounce from King. And this Smolder providing so much value as, hold on, they're looking for a fight with Elder. They don't care.
We are back, and we're back to that same point of fight once again. You're looking at trying to take down these supports and junglers, the ones that have the Elder attack. Chirp with a phenomenal Empress provide, and that really is the icing on the cake. He's had a rough game too, but now he's 4 and 6. He's getting it done. He will fall victim to Ryoma being a very scary max level Akali. He's topped up and healthy. The Void Seeker connecting, no killer instinct for Hooper to get that kill. Oh, this is dangerous. This is getting very dicey right now because Fury are hunting for the end.
Okay, Skimmy, so I couldn't see it there, but I think what Swiper and Drag2 did was wait there with the Elder. There were long death timers on Ryoma and King, but it looks like both of them actually have the buff there. So I think that in that replay, while we were analyzing the fight that preceded it, they actually held that, and that's going to be huge. That is really a crucial factor in these team fights, because if you thought the burn was bad before, imagine a Smolder with Elder on top of that execute. Just so much damage coming out from that champion as well as the Akali. So yeah, you can see here they held it for a really long time here, waiting for both Ryoma and King to come back alive. And that is actually what buys the time for Fury and Tomasino to be able to get this chase on the back end here. TP coming through from Chirp. And yes, they have the Elder buff. They know that they're fighting against that, but ultimately, they know the carries of Antic can't get here in time. They find these nice little kills and really halt these Elder plans. Skimmy, this feels exactly like Game 3 yesterday. It feels like we're in for the long haul.
And at what point do Antic say enough is enough? Yes, we know we've been coined this late game Titan squad, but at what point do you say we're just mentally fatigued? We've had enough of playing 50-minute games. This is not Season 1 when the game goes this long. This is definitely foreign territory, and it soon will be for Fury. Also, in their debut split, their longest game has been 39 minutes and 41 seconds. We're a couple of minutes away from that being an actual reality. And with the Elder expiring in 30 seconds, with the next Baron to look at in 60, it really could be a case of us going to that 50-minute dreaded point again.
Yeah, only 20 seconds here left on this Elder though, so not really too much potential to find the value that Antic are looking for. But you can see just how hard it is to even exist in your own jungle here for Swiper, found by these Void Seekers. Really is going to help Fury in terms of being able to push up and control whichever area of the map they're looking for. So Elder does expire 40 seconds on this Baron. And now scaling really has come into effect for everyone. I'd honestly say Fury, with this Jax in the side lane and the Azir matchup in mid, feels slightly better in terms of those items. But with Ryoma on Akali, you never know. It's all going to come down to execution anyway. And it seems like the side lanes are yet again forgotten by everyone but Tomasino here. He wants to make a little push, wants to try to draw Zoranus away, because he's so much of the front line, he's so much of the counter engage. And you can see just the lack of vision that Antic have. They have to walk together as this unit because they know if a single member is found, Fury will pull the trigger.
And the thing also to take into consideration, Max, is the lack of MR, right? I mean, yes, sure, Zoranus has that in abundance, but these Void Seekers are really going to start to hurt based on the armization that Hooper's worked his way towards. So between himself and Chirp, they are really hoping to achieve true damage at this point in the game, but the Baron's been started. They have no idea. They have an inkling that it's being looked at. But can they deny it from being stolen away? It's been a rough last 2 nights here for Swiper. 48 hours of which Barons and Dragons have been stolen away from him. Would Nox do the unthinkable?
Oh,
he won't! He would steal it away as well! And Swiper really is having a bit of PTSD right now. A war veteran just wishing to hit that smite key on time. They'll try and fight to claim some kind of vengeance, but they can only find a meager cow. Out goes the Alistair. Tomasino spinning the whirling lamp. He going golden himself, but realizing that he's going to get shut down all the same.
Almost deja vu there. Antic lose yet another Baron. It's stolen by Nox. This time, luckily, they do take out Tomasino on the back end. So all of that split push threat that the Jax are going to be able to provide is not going to come through. But once again, it's these smites that are really their downfall from Antic. You can see it's just a pure 50-50 here with Tomasino coming in. There's all this extra chaos that's being created, and that buys time. It's almost a pixel-perfect smite there from Nox. On the back end, obviously, Fury, the directive is to get out. They don't want this continued fight, given their misposition, but they're certainly going to be happy with 3 Barons still alive.
12-23, you certainly can't argue with, as you say, pixel perfect late game smite damage. That really was as close as it comes. And it's that Bolt Fury, the crucial time they need, because they've isolated that Draco. The hook's never going anyway. He's gone, the TP coming on in, and then surely can spray upon this one. They're looking at Spot as he hits the path pick and becomes immune to CC. The Empress survives a little bit too early, so Rome has not been pushed away. The block goes out. King is burning them down. They isolate at the kill, and Chirp's been removed. Making a double now for Smolder, who is making sure that he wants every piece of blood. He wants it on his hands, he wants it in his veins, he wants to get it done on this map because he doesn't want this game going to 54 minutes. He doesn't want the same mistakes being made again. He's wiped the floor with Fury and said, nice Baron buff, but look at your base.
Yes, Kimmy, I think they might have enough to end here. They've got waves pushing in both mid and bot, and it's only Hooper and Findo alive. There's no summoner spells, no ultimate. The Killer Instinct is still on cooldown for a little bit of time here. What can Fury do? They've waited so long, 41 minutes. Can they save the game here? 19 kills on King here. He really is trying to do all he can to win this game for his team. One Nexus turret falls on down, hunting for that second. It's looking like they've done it here, Max. It is certainly looking to be the case. They had to work so much harder here in game 2, though. Really, Fury gave them such a strong run for their money. But at 41 minutes, the late game experts finally bring this series to a close, and they progress through that lower bracket. It was looking like a game 3 repeat there from